Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by PILMA. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today, I have got a treat in store for you. So I was at the National Trial Lawyers Convention several weeks ago, back in May, and I met this fella named Itzkowitz. And what he had, the new software he has, the new legal technology, and you know me, I love leading technology. I always like for our PILMA members to be in the forefront. I told him as soon as I met him, I said, I want you to come to our summit, and I want to get you on my podcast. And I'm not sure when this will be aired, but I can tell you it's about the third week in May right now. And Aaron, I'm excited for you to share this. I'm going to keep everybody in suspense just a little bit longer. But first, tell us your story. Tell us a little about yourself, and then we'll get into what I think is a breakthrough, not only in in getting more for your cases, but also at trial, but also in marketing. You know, not to be wasting your money to get a better ROI, not to be wasting your marketing dollars. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into this great new deal you got.
Thanks, Ken. So firstly, I want to tell you, I was actually pre-law in college. I think it was for about one semester, and then I said, wasn't the right fit. I was the kind of kid who was always selling candy bars to the other students in class. So I've always been an entrepreneur. Out of college, I went into the family business in New York. I live in Florida now, but it was a picture framing business. Not fancy, no technology, didn't even have a computer, old-fashioned factory with sawdust and nails and glue. But what I did do is, it was my dad's business. He had sort of taken over from my grandfather, so it was around for about 50 years. And at the time, this was the early 80s, my dad was earning about $75,000 a year, which was a nice, middle class, high middle class income in the early 80s, lived a comfortable middle class life. Make a long story short, I took the infrastructure that they already had, I expand the marketing with very little investment on the family side. And by the time I left in the 90s, my dad was personally earning on an annual basis $2.2 million a year in income from $75,000.
You're the favorite son then.
I was kind of the favorite son, but I left the family business to explore technology because he didn't want to invest in the family business going into the tech world. So he was kind of angry at me back then. My path took me into software launches in the early 2000s, a lot of different technologies. I was even hired by Hewlett-Packard for a short consulting gig in 2002 to launch one of their new large format printers back in the day. And from the time they sent a team to meet with me to consult to the time we actually closed our first sale was 6 months. And that first sale was $140 million.
Damn.
So I've had some really good successes. I won't tell you about all my exploits, but the long story short is this business, Emotiontrac, was born about 5 years ago. It took on a different path than where we are today. And it was really targeting engagement of TV ads or actually specific video advertising. So what happened was my son, who was a senior in high school, was sitting on the couch with the one day a year that everybody watches TV commercials, Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl Sunday. And he turns to me and he says, hey, I just saw a commercial with GoDaddy with Danica Patrick, who, by the way, was also at the NTL Summit, just coincidentally. And he said, I just texted a bunch of my friends to buy a domain name. And so GoDaddy should pay me $1 for each referral that I'm sending to my friends. And I was consulting at the time, and a light bulb went in my head, light bulb went off, and I said, that's fantastic. Most people skip the ads on YouTube after 3 seconds. How do we get people to engage? So we came up with the idea of rewarded video. If you engage in the advertisement, you'd get a reward. So we started testing that. We ended up building a mobile app, but we came up with a really creative angle. We actually said to the people who downloaded the app and were players to say, give us access to the front-facing camera of your telephone. And this way we know that you're actually eyes on the screen. You're actually watching, there's attention, there's engagement. And then you get entered into a sweepstakes, and the sweepstakes would be held every hour, and you'd win points and you'd cash out through PayPal. Anyway, this was the beginning of our technology. So we were evolving that software, that technology, into a mobile app. But we didn't want to really be in the consumer side. So as that was being developed, and we ramped up very quickly, we had 15,000 players and we had some advertisers, we actually started playing around with the ability to see how people's facial expressions were changing while they were watching an ad or any kind of video. Were they laughing? Were they crying? You know, was it tugging at their heartstrings? You know, were they empathetic? And so we started developing that solutions by using standard libraries that were out in the marketplace, like facial recognition, but we built our own algorithms. And so now we had the ability to deliver to advertisers how people not only were, grabbing their attention, but how they were feeling about it, almost like a focus group. And that's, fast forward to today, how we got into the current market is we built a whole platform around our core technology, our patented technology, and we have multiple patents on this. And we launched in late January, right before COVID hit, specifically targeting to ad agencies and creative agencies and to media and entertainment. But as soon as COVID hit, they stopped filming because of social distancing. So we're sitting around, we're getting meetings because everybody's at home and available for a Zoom meeting. But the bottom line was we weren't getting any business. So probably around April or May, when COVID was really hot and heavy, I was just thinking about who else could use video content. And I had just been speaking to a friend of mine who's a medical malpractice attorney, and she just did a video deposition for opposing counsel's expert witness. And can I be a little bit not clean on this webcast?
Just a little bit.
Okay, well, she said to me, she was at the deposition via Zoom, and she thought the guy was a dick. Okay. I don't know if we should black that out, but anyway, so but she didn't want to leave it up to herself. She really wanted to see what an independent panel audience would think about. And I said, oh, this is great. I've got this platform with tests and ads. I'm sure we can run some of your video, some of the questions and answer sessions and the video deposition through our platform to about 100 panelists, because our product is quantitative and qualitative. It's not compared to your traditional focus group, which could be 6 or 12 people. You're getting a lot of data. So what came out of it was the audience did not find the witness to be trustworthy. They did not find the witness to be appealing. They did not find the witness to be likable, but they were empathetic towards the content of what was being spoken on the video. So we actually capture all those scores based using data science and different emotional spikes and dips second by second as the video plays, as the audience watches it, like almost like a show. And then we're able to report back. So she ended up using those results in the report that we delivered to her to go back to opposing counsel and settle at mediation. And I said to my investors, I said, guys, I think we got a business here in the legal space. And that's, I know it's a little bit long-winded, Ken, I apologize.
Yeah.
That's sort of the story.
So let me just rephrase this, make sure I understand it. So there's really two components of this software. You can use it one, like if I wanted to do some Facebook ads or some TV ads, I could run these on here before I went out and spent all the money, put them on the media to see how people reacted to them, whether or not they were, whether or not it resonated with them. And that way I would have a better return on my investment, not waste my dollar ads. Is that right?
That's correct. Not only that, you can actually isolate like what section of your TV ads are effective and not effective. So you can go back in before you spend money on advertising and say, you know what, 11 seconds to 16 seconds, I wanted to achieve this emotion, from my idea of what I wanted from the creative ad. And you can edit in advance. And so we have a lot of case stories where people have seen a vast improvement because they tested the ads almost like a movie, like an audience screening product,
Right.
but much more economical, so much faster. We deployed just this morning for one attorney that we met at NTL, out of Michigan. I won't say his name, but he gave us 3 of his commercials to test this morning. We already deployed all 3 commercials to 3 unique audiences of 100 people each. He already has his results, so he can see which of his ads is going to be best. And then we're still going to do a follow-up with him on Monday because we have an expert analyst on our team in market research and focus group moderation. She's going to write up a 10-page report comparing the ads and saying, here's the takeaways, here's recommendations, here's how you can get a big lift in your efforts. And then he said, oh, by the way, I also have a couple of cases I want to test, some truck accidents and some slip and falls and stuff like that. So all over.
So you got that side, which is great, and then you've got the side where you can do videos, like if you were, I guess, the video depositions of somebody, if you're doing some kind of mock trial or whatever to kind of see, or how are you seeing lawyers use it? Or they use it just on video depositions, or they use it in on other ways?
Actually, they use it's like a blank canvas. They're using us in so many different ways. So first of all, our software is as a service. So it's a whole automated platform, but we also provide managed services, which means if you've got a case and you've got your evidence, or you've got video deposition, or you want to even practice your opening remarks and closing arguments about the case, like in front of a mock jury, you can film it yourself with your iPhone or your Android, send it to us, and we'll piece together like a 5-minute mini movie. We do all that. We do the whole thing. We'll send it back to you. You proof it. You tell us what you want to edit. Is there a life plan for your client? Whatever the type of case it is, whether it's personal injury, medical malpractice, criminal, doesn't make a difference, civil, whatever the objectives are, we'll put that together. Once we have that video ready to go, then it gets deployed and delivered to our panel audience. And as soon as we get 100 responses back from our audience, which sometimes usually takes less than an hour, that's how fast we get the data. Now we have the results. And so you have your basic results using data science. And then again, you actually play back your video and see how the emotional peaks and valleys are changing, whether it's anger, confusion, sadness, fear, and surprise. And all those have different values. You get real empirical data. But the interesting thing is that once the audience has watched your case materials, by the time they finish watching the video, they've now become biased. They were not biased beforehand because we don't tell them up front what the video is about. They start watching the video with no bias. It's total authentic reactions. But you have the ability to ask survey questions after the video is complete. So the panel audience through a mobile app watches the video. Then it says, if you were the juror, would you do this, this, or this? Or would you award this, this, this? So one of our attorneys in LA, he basically used us for 2 of his cases, was going to go to trial. He was looking for the research, and he used it to define valuation through the survey questions. And he called me about right before NTL, and he said, I just settled both of those cases for $1 million each. And all I did was tell the opposing counsel that I did this focus group thing. He called it a focus group thingy. Focus group thingy. I don't know if I want to call it that. Focus group thingy. And he basically ended up settling more than he expected on that particular cases. So
it's amazing. So I know what our viewers and listeners are thinking now. Man, this probably is very expensive with all this technology. So what is the kind of price range on this?
So creative is different than legal, because legal, we do video editing. On creative, if you already have your agency putting together video, we don't do any editing. And so typically on the creative side, you can probably get away around $1,500 in an average test to get in front of those 100 panelists. And again, we also supply the panel. We pre-screen them. There's demographics. Sometimes there's psychographics, about the panelists. You can request that. Depending on that, change the price. And on legal, it starts about $2,500 and up. I haven't seen it go higher than $5,000 on a particular case, but in that order, basically the client, the attorney, wanted to test the story, the case, with 3 independent audiences and 3 different sets of survey questions. So it was like 3 tests for a lower price point, because we were able to sort of merge all the data and give him 1 report instead of giving him 3 independent reports. And again, these reports, these post-test reports, are typically about 6 to 10 pages of data that we write up. It takes about 2 days after the test is completed. And we even do a post-order follow-up. So we actually have our reporter on the phone with you, going through the results of the test with you. So it's very comprehensive. And I'll tell you, if anybody spent money on focus groups where they've actually purchased with a focus group company, it can get to be very pricey. We're about, I would say on the national average, we're about 1/6 of the cost.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's, I don't think I know it could be a game changer on both sides of this. I mean, it's very seldom that you see some software that can be used for the marketing and for the actual trying of a case, or trying to get a case settled for a law firm. So I just think it's ingenious. I think it's groundbreaking, and I think you're going to be very successful with it.
Thank you, Ken.
I really do. I think, I was watching 60 Minutes the other night, and all this facial recognition, and, of course, they were trying to make a big deal about it's not 100%. Well, nothing's 100%, but, I mean, this is where it's going. And, people like you figure out ways to use it in different ways to make it, to help, lawyers, consumers, everybody. So I just think it's a great thing. So any parting thoughts about it? I mean, and then also I want you to give the contact and tell us about your company, the name, and how they can get up with you if they want to talk to you more about it or want to try it out. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. If I was getting ready to run some big TV ads, I would want to do this. If I was getting ready to try a case or go to a mediation on a mid-6 to 7-figure case, this would be a no-brainer for me. Because you can charge it back to the client. For me, it's a no-brainer. But anyway.
Well, we built a solution, and it's really here meant for lawyers to either win cases or to get more clients. That's the bottom line. And it's a blank canvas. We had one attorney use it just to see how they would react to the clothes he was planning on wearing to trial. How was their reaction? He said a few things. You can do it for testing speeches. I mean, there's just so many different applications. So, but, let people reach out to me. We'll set up a Zoom call, or if it makes sense, an in-person visit, especially now that, the CDC has changed some of the guidelines. I don't know when this is airing, but if it's airing before Memorial Day, I'll be in the Louisville, Lexington area, Kentucky, on June 1st. So if anybody wants to see me, if I'm in town there, let me know. Otherwise, I'm in South Florida. And our website is emotiontrac.com, just emotiontrac.com. And there's no K at the end of track. So it's trac.com. And my email is simply Aaron, AARON, at emotiontrac.com, AARON at emotiontrac.com. And if they want to call me, by all means, 561-763-1715, 561-763-1715. And if not, I will see everybody at the PILMA event in New Orleans. I'm excited about that too, Ken.
Yeah, I am too, and I know you're going to really put on a good show and show these people, and it's kind of the way we got it set up. It's sort of breakout session, so they can really get in there and and really pick your brain and see different ways they could use this technology to grow their law firms.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited about it too, and we're expecting what I saw at MTL. Every lawyer is ready to get out and go do something, and what better place to do it than New Orleans in the fall? You know, a block away from Bourbon Street, Ritz-Carlton Hotel. You just don't get any better. And plus, we've got, counting you now, we've got 42 different presentations and speakers going on over a 4-day period. So it's chock full of great stuff like this. But, and I love to bring people like you to our events because I want to be the leader, the thought leader. I want to be whatever the cutting edge is. I want to be one of the people that is putting that out there to the lawyers in America.
Can we do a little shout out about the charity giveaway, or is it?
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. I apologize. Yeah. So I created this foundation called it's a charity, Lawyers Against Drug Addiction, and not many of you know this, but I lost a son to a heroin overdose several years ago, and I started this as a result of that. And Aaron has agreed we're going to be doing a raffle, and part of the raffle is I'm going to give a day with me, and then also Aaron's going to give away, I can't remember the amount, but a credit of what, like $2,500?
That's correct. We can give a $2,500 credit towards any orders.
Yeah. So that'll be raffled off too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate that, Aaron. I really do. Yeah, that means a lot to me.
I'm sorry about your loss. So we should only have good memories.
Yeah. He was a good kid. He just, as we all know, all family, this thing has no class boundaries. It goes to all races, all rich people, poor people, middle income people. It really has no barriers. I mean, it affects us all. And but the deal is what I'm trying to do is, like always, is try to do something about it instead of just sitting around moping. I'm trying to get out, raise some money, and there's some certain groups out there that really seem to be doing a better job than others. And I give a lot of money to nonprofits that really have been successful and helping people get off of this, because it's very, very hard to get off heroin. It's almost impossible, but it can be done. So anyway, with that, I thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in person back in New Orleans, September 29th through October 2nd. If it's Carlton, we will sell out. Like I said, over 42 speakers. We've got a heck of a room rate, like $250 for the Ritz-Carlton is unbelievable. And I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go. I wish it was tomorrow. Really do. I'm looking forward to it. So until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.